So, what makes a bull worth more than, say, a brand new car? It's a legit question. Today, we're going to break down this really interesting sales video from Pakistan to get to the bottom of a high-stakes livestock deal. We're looking at 4 massive bulls in a pretty unique, fascinating market. Let's just dive right in.
And that really is the big question here, right? What makes a single bull worth over $5,000? I mean, that price tag, it seems kind of insane at first glance. So what's really going on? To figure it out, we've got to dig into the culture, learn the lingo, and really understand how the commerce works in this very specific world.
Okay, first things first, we need some context, because this is not your average farm auction, not even close. These bulls are being sold for Qurbani, which is the annual Islamic festival of sacrifice. This is a huge deal, a time of immense religious significance. The act of sacrifice itself is a symbol of faith and generosity, because the meat is traditionally shared with family, friends, and those in need. And that directly pumps up the value, right? A bigger, healthier animal, well, that represents a more significant offering.
All right, so let's meet the stars of our show. We're looking at 4 heavyweight Brahman cross bulls, a breed that's already known for its impressive size. But the real selling point, the thing the seller keeps coming back to, is how they were raised. They're on a Desi Vonda. Think of it as a traditional, all-natural, home-fed diet. For a buyer who knows what they're looking for, that one phrase just screams quality, purity, and meticulous care.
So let's meet the contenders. Each one's got its own little story, its own unique features, and of course, a very, very specific price tag.
First up, we've got the clear headliner, a bull named Bablu. The seller makes sure to show him off first, and you can just tell he's the prize asset of the group. He's the biggest, the most mature, he's the main event.
And his asking price? A whopping 15 lakh rupees. Now, I know that number probably means absolutely nothing to most of you right now. But hang on, don't worry, we're going to translate all of this in just a minute. For now, just remember, this is the big one, the highest price of the bunch.
Next in line is Panda, and he gets his name from those really distinct markings on his face. He's younger than Bablu, but, as we're about to see, he is just as impressive when it comes to size.
Panda and the other 2 bulls we'll meet have a fixed asking price of 12 lakh rupees. Still a very significant price for sure, but a clear step down from the star attraction, Bablu.
And finally, we have a pair of brothers. They don't get cool names, but they've got something just as important, a premium lineage. The seller proudly points out that they're the sons of a famous sire known as the American Bazooka Bull. For potential buyers, that name alone signals top-tier, high-quality genetics.
Okay, so if we're going to really grasp the value here, we have to decode the lingo. The seller uses this very specific jargon, and it tells a potential buyer everything they need to know if you know what you're listening for.
All right, first up, dant. This one's simple. It literally just means teeth. You'll hear the seller say dudant or chowardant. This isn't just random trivia. It's a super traditional and, honestly, a really trusted way to verify an animal's age and maturity. And that's critical for Qurbani. Dudant, 2 teeth, means it's a younger, prime animal. Chowardant, 4 teeth, that's a more mature bull. Next, let's talk about weight. The seller doesn't use kilograms or pounds. He uses the term man. This is a traditional unit of mass, and it's equal to about 40 kilos, or 88 pounds. So when he says a bull has a meat weight of 12 to 13 man, he's telling you it's going to yield nearly 500 kilograms of meat. That's a lot. And finally, let's get back to that price tag. What in the world is a lakh? Well, it's a unit from the Indian numbering system, and it just means 100,000. So when he says Bablu's price is 15 lakh rupees, what he's really saying is 1.5 million Pakistani rupees. You do the conversion and boom, that's roughly 5,400 US dollars. And there's the answer to our big question.
So now that we know the lingo, let's put it all together. Take a look at this table. You can see Bablu is the oldest, the most mature at Chardant. But here's what's really interesting. Panda, even though he's younger at Dodant, is estimated to have a similar meat weight, around 520 kilograms. I mean, that is just a ridiculously huge animal.
Okay, so we understand what's being sold. Now let's look at how it's being sold, because the structure of the deal itself tells us a whole lot about this market.
So, the seller throws in a few things to sweeten the deal. First, free delivery to a major city like Karachi.
If you know anything about logistics, you know moving an animal this size is a massive headache, so that's a huge bonus. He also offers a package discount. You know, buy all 4, get a better price. And the way you contact him is pretty interesting too. WhatsApp voice messages only. Very modern, very direct.
You know, the actual sales strategy here is pretty clever. For the star of the show, Bablu, the price is negotiable. The seller even says there's room for some love and affection, which is just a classic, fantastic way of saying, let's haggle. But for the other 3, nope. That 12-lock price is firm, it's final. So you've got this clear 2-tiered system for the sale.
So what does a little sales video like this really tell us? Well, it's more than just a transaction. It's kind of like a statement about where this market is at. What we're looking at here is a perfect snapshot of the old world meeting the new. You've got this ancient, deeply important religious tradition of Qurbani. But then you have these super modern breeding techniques, right? Using genetics from an American bazooka bull. And how is it all being sold? On YouTube, a global digital platform. It's a fascinating mix.
And this quote from the seller just captures the whole thing perfectly. Even with all the modern genetics in the world, the ultimate mark of quality is that these animals were raised the traditional way, on a desi or local, home-fed diet. He calls it outstanding, and for his target buyer, it absolutely is.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. At the end of the day, this isn't just about buying an animal. It's way more complicated than that. It's this complex transaction that sits right at the intersection of faith, of social status, and of modern global commerce. All these different forces come together to answer that big question we started with, showing us exactly how a bull can become worth over $5,000. And it gives us a little window into how value is created and communicated in all kinds of markets all over the world.